The advisors to King Lobengula were suspicious of the telegraph wires being stretched across their land by the British South Africa Company in the late 19th century. They believed the white men's plan was to use the wires to tie and restrain their king, ruler of the northern Ndebele people in Matabeleland. Even when the official purpose of the telegraph was explained to them, they were still dismissive. Why would such a thing be needed, they asked, when they already possessed effective means of long-distance communication such as drums and smoke signals? To many, this might sound like a familiar story, the story of pre-modern people standing in the way of inevitable progress, or the story of misguided resistance to a technology that eventually paved the way to a better world. But the advisors to King Lobengula were justified in their suspicions. The British South Africa Company, led by Cecil Rhodes, declared war against the Ndebele in 1893 and continued with the suppression of the Matabeleland and Mashonaland uprisings in 1896. One of the pretexts used to wage war was that the locals were stealing the copper wire to make ornaments and hunting tools. The telegraph was important for other reasons too. From a military perspective, it would prove to be crucial for orchestrating the colonization of southern Africa, including what would become southern Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. It would have been much more difficult to coordinate troop movements and send alerts without it. As a result of those wars, by 1930, about 50% of the country's land, 49 million acres, had been granted to European migrants, who represented only 5% of the population. In other words, it was a land grab. Colonialism may have proceeded by different methods at different times and different places in history, but in the end, it always boiled down to the same thing: a seizing of land and the riches and labour that went with it, perpetrated by force or deception. Two things made colonialism distinctive from other asset seizures in history. First, this land grab was global, reaching truly planetary proportions. From 1800 to 1875, about 83,000 square miles from all over the world were acquired each year by European colonizers. From 1875 to 1914, that figure jumped to 240,000 square miles per year. By the end of that period, Britain had 55 colonies, France 29, Germany 10, Portugal and the Netherlands 8 each, Italy 4 and Belgium 1. Colonialism is a story not only about the Ndebele in Zimbabwe, but also about the Bororo in Brazil and the countless other peoples who witnessed the simultaneous arrival of the telegraph, the rifle and the cross, or whatever specific combination of colonial technologies, weaponry and beliefs they were colonized with. For none of them did these things bring peace and progress, only dispossession and injustice. The second point is that colonial stories have long lives. We are not just talking about an isolated war here, or the introduction of a technology there. Colonialism is a process that took centuries to unfold, and its repercussions continue to be felt. To put it differently, the historic land grab may be over. Obviously, Southern Africa is no longer a colony of the British. But the impacts of the land grab continue to reverberate. Compare present-day England and Zimbabwe, and you soon realize that, overall, the benefits have continued to accrue to the colonizer nation in the form of accumulated wealth, while the burdens have continued to accrue to the colonized in the form of poverty, violence, and lack of opportunity. We are increasingly sensing an urgent need to reinterpret our past and present in the light of that colonial land grab.